Welcome to another episode of Leading While Human. This is the space where we explore how to lead while human in a space of belonging, courage, and people first policies. This is episode 4. This is Sean Gaillard. I am here with my co-pilot and podcast sister, Sonia Matthew. And we are wrapping up our inaugural season with a really special guest, a friend, a sister, a thought partner, Dr. Donya Ball, who, if you've been following all of the podcasts of Gaylord, you may remember Donya and I had a wonderful conversation talking about the Beatles. What was it, about a year ago or so?
It sure
And
was.
and since then we have just been we've been brother and sister. So without further ado, Dr. Matthew, Sonia, tell our friends about our friend Dr. Ball.
Our sister,
Our
Dr. Donya
sister,
Ball.
yes.
And we are connected, even though my screen is not like the others, right? Okay, green is my favorite color. We are still connected, and I am just so excited, so blessed, Donya, Dr. Ball, to have you with us. We're going to go ahead and start with your bio. It's going to be really short, but that has no bearing on how deep you are as a human, as a leader.
Right on.
Dr. Donya Ball is an international keynote speaker, leadership coach, professor, and best-selling author whose work focuses on navigating leadership through complexity. Now, Sean, I think you have her books with you. Can you put them up? Do you have them with you?
I
So we
do.
have
I'm holding them
Adjusting
up.
the Sails and Against the Wind. And I actually just ordered Adjusting the Sails this morning. So I'm so excited to dig on in. So as I was saying, her leadership focuses on navigating leadership through complexity, challenge, and change. We showed you the two books, Adjusting the Sails and Against the Wind, two books that offer practical and human-centered strategies for leading when conditions are uncertain and the pressure is high. Let me say that again, because that is what we deal with every day. We have pressures that are uncertain, conditions and pressure every single day, but we still do it with grace if we are committed to leading while human. Dr. Ball is known for blending research, real world leadership, experience, and storytelling to help leaders lead with clarity, courage, and purpose. Dr. Donya, we are so delighted. Welcome to the Leading While Human podcast.
Okay, so number one, beautiful intro. Number two, in the spirit of being 100% human on this beautiful weekend and raw, I have my favorite glass of Chardonnay. I am going to toast to both of you, fabulous podcast hosts, for making a tremendous impact with the work that you're doing with this Leading While Human podcast, number one. Number two, I'm going to toast and cheers to Brother Sean, because today is a very, very important day, your rebirth day. And I want us to celebrate and honor that. So cheers to both of you for having me and for us being able to engage in this beautiful conversation. Love you.
Oh my God. Love you too. Cheers. Oh wow. Thank
Cheers.
you. Oh my gosh.
Cheers.
Sister Donya, thank you so much for that beautiful toast. And I'm a little taken off guard in a good way by that, and I'm glad that I don't have to do the first question, so I can compose myself a little bit. But thank you so much. This is truly a
I
gift.
told you we're getting as close to our living room as we can. That's what this conversation is. It is a living room conversation, and I'm not holding back. So let's go.
Let's do it, sister.
She is not holding back. And I think about the rebirth. I think about why leading with human. What have we experienced in our lives that bring us to this place of humanity being at the top of our list, right? As the anchor that sustains us, as the guide that leads us. It is because of our experiences. So I honor you, Sean, definitely to echo what Dr. Ball has said about your rebirth, because we all have had our stories and pitfalls to bring us to this space of prioritizing leading while human. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start with the first question, Dr. Ball, and that is, why human-centered leadership, especially now?
All right, so here we go. Let's call out first the juicy problem. We have a major juicy problem. And by the way, when I say we throughout this podcast, yes, I'm talking about Sean, Sonia, and Donya, but I'm also talking about you listeners. And when we say we are leaders across the spectrum, entry level, mid-level, executive, and not just industry specific, by the way, because you're listening right now and you are listening from a heart that might be in construction or fashion or, education, whatever it is. The juicy problem that exists, no matter your role, is that we have a terrible time with people, situations, and things that hurt us at a very deep level. And when we thrust into leadership, we have to face that hurt head on. Metrics hurt us. They disappoint us. People hurt us. They attack us. Okay? Situations and issues and policies, laws, they hurt us. And we can't control that hurt. But what we can control and what we can negotiate 100% is our response and how we navigate that hurt. This is why I'm pointing up here, leading while human is at the heartbeat of the work, because no one prepares us for this hurt, for the disappointment, for the trials, for the stressors. And our response and how we navigate that is everything. And that is why leading while human is at the center of what we do.
Wow. Dr. Ball, you were a superintendent.
Wow.
You
Absolutely.
were at
for
the
6
top,
years.
For 6 years, the top of your game. You can't go any further, right, as an educational leader. And everything that you mentioned, metrics, all the accountability, the policy, that is what superintendents do. That is the weight. Those are the things that weigh heavy on superintendents. Absolutely. Those very things that hurt us, hurt the superintendent the most, because that's the person that it all falls under, right? Mm-hmm. Wow. And the fact that you did it and you're here to talk about it and to lead while human is a beautiful thing. I just want so much more, but I'm going to toss it right on to you, Sean, because we can go on and
on. There are so many great moments that Donya just shared there, and as we like to call it, it's a rewindable moment. So if you're on your walk, if you are at the gym, or if you're walking into a board meeting or classroom, you're going to be rewinding a whole bit and taking note and going, oh my gosh, what was that moment there? So speaking of walking, Sister Donya, I know that you and Sonia as well, both of you do a very good job of modeling, self-care and getting out and moving, and whether it is walking, whether, doing those planks or burpees and all those things that you do whenever you travel at home, you're walking the dog, you got the coffee. And what I appreciate about all of that is how not only are you, living your best life and being unabashed in sharing that, but also modeling for leaders, really, the fact that you've got to, if you're going to take care of other humans, you have to take care of the most important human, yourself.
Mhm.
So I want to talk about, either in your present, space now as a keynote and as a speaker,
Mhm.
how you live that out currently in terms of living this out as a human-centered leader. But then also for those that are in the daily grind of the gig, whatever that may be. How can we live that out? How do you live that out?
Yeah. So here's the deal. Once we show up to the job, whatever that is, our days are hijacked
Yeah.
by problem after problem, challenge after challenge, right? And so that is why, and by the way, I spent years not getting it right. I'm just going to call that out. I
Same here.
spent years not taking care of myself.
Same.
Okay. And when we have those non-examples, those things that like we're buried, right? And we're unhealthy, and they're big wake-up calls that we gotta take something back. We gotta get things under control. It's not like I've always just lived this life of consistent habits and working out, because that is the furthest from the truth. Human wise, I was in the rat race killing myself until I was like, okay, not going to make it. This isn't working, right? Found myself and my dad having a really heart-to-heart conversation with me. Daughter, I'm worried about you. My mom, same thing, right? My husband, same thing. Like, you're not looking too good. You're not emotionally, health-wise doing that. And so I just want to call that out right away, is that I'm still evolving and figuring this stuff out. When we go up and we show up to these jobs, we're troubleshooting problem after problem, challenge after challenge, whether it's internal conflicts or the problems coming from externally to us, because as leaders, we face both. Okay. And so what I developed with the Leadership Trifecta, or the growth code, right, are the critical drivers that no matter your role, no matter your leadership capacity, these are the non-negotiable drivers that must be intact in order for you and your teams and your organization to unlock the most amount of impact and to sustain that impact long term. So that is really what I attempt every single day to live out, is consistency, empathy, and authenticity. That's the trifecta. Okay. And so no matter the industry, no matter the leadership role, when we lead while human, if any one of those are missing, we crumble.
Yes.
If consistency is missing, we crumble. If empathy is missing, you better bet we see examples of this happening federally, state, and community. Empathy is missing, crumble. Absolute disaster. Authenticity is missing, meaning we've lost ourselves in the work. We're now the title, but we've lost our humanness. Crumble. All three of those have to be intact in order to be able to wisely negotiate this space of leadership, in order to deal with the hurt, the challenges, the situations. By the way, I'm struggling with this currently. Okay. I am working through a situation where I feel like I've been wronged. Okay. Let's bring up a very human, real situation.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wronged by someone very close to me and involving a leadership situation. And without getting into the weeds and the details of the situation, because that's not what matters, I'm having to check myself at the freaking front door every day, because the way that I want to respond is not with empathy. It's not. Mm-hmm. I want to go on the attack. I want to create more division. Like, that is the natural human instinct. And so I'm having to really ground myself, you guys, in this. And it's so difficult, because when we react with emotion and opinion and all of that stuff, it can be a little scary. And we can say things we don't mean. We can do things that we don't mean. And I'm struggling on this today. And I have been for a few weeks, because this hurt is so real and I wasn't expecting it. And so I talk about all these things, right, in my keynotes, mm-hmm. in my books, but exercising it every day, it's a challenge for us, especially when we've been deeply wronged.
Yeah. Wow. And the thing that is so key, and we, Sonia and I have talked about, principal school and what they don't teach you there. And you nailed it. Like, how to cope with the setback, the hurt, the BS, when you are wrong, because we are human. And,
yes.
and there is, no, I hear you. I can completely identify with a pain I felt several months ago. I think you know what I'm referring to a little bit, and
yes.
and
yes.
how if all of those three things are because the things you mentioned, consistency, the trifecta: consistency, authenticity, and empathy, there are forces that push against that, right? There are external forces that try to upend your consistency. There are things that try to upend your empathy and all of those things, and if you're not careful, you can end up, kind of, you mentioned my rebirth day. You can end up either being rushed to the hospital like I was, or you can end up, in another more severe situation. I was very fortunate, by the grace of God, to get through it. But again, I love how you've identified this kind of the challenge of dealing and coping with hurt and pain, because they don't teach you that. They don't.
No.
They at all.
And Sean and Sonia, I want to call this very important fact out. We've signed up for public facing positions, no matter our role as leaders, which means we've also signed up for the BS. Mm-hmm. Even though we can say it's unfair, the BS is unfair, okay? It's not warranted. It's toxic. Mm-hmm. When we sign up for leadership, we sign up for all of it, and we sign up for all of it in the public eye. So as a professor, I share that exactly with aspiring leaders. And when I have an aspiring leader actually say to me, never mind, I don't want to do this, I actually congratulate them, by the way, on that decision, because this is not for everybody. And we are doing a disservice for aspiring leaders if we are not disclosing to them this stuff. And that is what your podcast is doing, FYI, is we are disclosing not just the amazing impact that we have, which is so beneficial and so rewarding, but we need to be disclosing the stuff that's real.
Yes.
And the stuff that's real means you got to be willing to be in the public eye and negotiate these problems while staying intact. And not every person is built to do that. And when you recognize you're not built to do that, it's okay to say, not built for this.
Mm-hmm. There is grace and courage in walking away, and
100%. That I
honoring
honor.
your boundaries and your limits.
I honor that.
Wow. Oh, thank you, sister. Wow. I always love this moment in the podcast, and I always I always call this out for Sonia, because when I do the question, my part of the question, I always see Sonia's wheels turning like hard, and I see the arm movement, I see the notes being taken, and and I always love that about my partner. Sonia, I'm going to toss it to you, because
Yeah, what are you thinking, Sonia? We
the
want to
wheels
know
are
what's
turning.
Oh
happening.
my goodness. And I have, because we can go on and on and on. And I'm so glad that I got the book, Donya. You speak about the non-negotiables of consistency and empathy and authenticity. So consistency, it can be easy. It could be, right? Depending on what it is. Now, in order to have that consistency, you have to have the desire, right? And that's the same category as empathy and authenticity when you have that desire, because it's the work of the heart, right? So, oh my goodness. Those non-negotiables, if you are willing, like you said, you're built to lead, okay? If you're willing to lead anyway, despite all the unfairness. So
Yes.
we have someone here who's willing to lead
Yes.
despite the unfairness. And there's three ways that person's going to go. They're going to be they're going to do it. They're not going to even think about it. Well, we're just going to lead and be the non-example you spoke about, right? We'll be the non-example. We will be perhaps in the middle where the status quo just is how everybody's going. We'll kind of ignore those deep non-negotiables, right? Maybe not the consistency,
Yep.
but the empathy and the authenticity, those are deep, right? Or we will decide to stick to our morals, values, and principles and lead while human. So I'm looking at it as kind of 3 tiers.
Beautiful.
And if I go into this, I want to unpack it, and we don't have time. So perhaps we can have other times together, right?
There's got to be a part 2.
But if we unpacked it, that could take 4 more episodes. I can see that.
Let's do it.
And listen, we'll definitely let that brew. But what I want to bring forward to you, Dr. Ball, I want to bring forward to you a question that is going to help a lot of us, okay? Because the leading while human is hard heart work.
Yes.
And like you said, you have to be built to do it effectively, right? I want to know, for those folks out there who don't really understand perhaps how to check yourself at the door, or how to maintain grounded, because it is an intentionality all the time.
Yes.
When you're thinking about your response to people in that moment, those moments are going to make or break you, because we know they're taking that, they're feeling a certain way, they're going and talking about it, and now you're creating this toxic environment, right? You're perpetuating that. So that moment, those interactions with your students, your staff, your parents, you have to be intentional about the response. So I want to ask you, and I appreciate you telling us that you're living it now with the person who wronged you. Give us some action steps that one can take in the grounding process. So it's not just grounding at the door, but in those moments, what does that look like and sound like, so I can at least start that process as someone who is in the place of, I want to lead while human, but it's too much. And I don't have time to read all these books right now. I'll get there. But right now, what can I do that I can start tomorrow or Monday when I get to my building?
Absolutely. Beautiful question. And I have two very, very specific answers to address exactly that. Number one, Stephen Covey's work, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I'm going to fold in here.
Nice.
Because what Covey talks about is when you're faced with a stimulus, okay, negative stimulus, our gut reaction is to respond immediately. However, the magic happens when you enter into this bubble that we're going to call the freedom to choose. And this is an intentional moment with you, yourself, and that's it. It's a moment of one. So when you're faced with this stimulus, you enter into this bubble, and during this bubble, you're dissecting the problem. You're better understanding the problem. And this moment could be 2 seconds, and it could be a few breaths. This moment could be 2 days. This moment could be 2 weeks, 2 months. You choose. You have the freedom to choose how long this moment is. What happens when you reground during that freedom to choose bubble is that your response is very different than if you were to respond right away. And by the way, you may not respond at all, because during that regrounding, checking yourself at the door, you may decide this is not worth my time and energy. So this is number one. Number two, circle of concern versus circle of influence. Not every problem we actually even should be attending to, but we do. When we shrink our circle of concern, we actually widen our circle of influence. Okay? This is critical because as leaders, no matter our role, we are being thrown. Parents, students, staff, community. I'm just naming some areas of concern that are being thrown out to ed leaders specifically. The board, right? We're having to navigate all these competing agendas. And oftentimes we think because they've all been thrown at us, they need to be within my circle of concern. Well, what ends up happening is we overwhelm ourselves to the point where we actually diminish our influence and our impact. And this is proven based on grounded research. So we have to be able to distinguish and navigate these spaces of overwhelm and pick and choose very, very wisely what is actually within my realm of impact. Because we have leaders, FYI, who are trying to solve problems that are not worth their time solving, because guess what? It's not actually going to result in impact, long-term impact. So those are two very practical things that can happen tomorrow. Assess what's on your plate, and make sure that when you are faced with the negative stimulus, the problem, the challenge, how are you going to respond? Because you can control that. Or do you even need to respond at all? That's human work, you guys, right there.
Amen.
Absolutely. And I think about ego. That's the first word that comes to my mind. You got to let go of that ego. That is huge, right? It's not about you. I was interviewing a teacher the other day, and he said when a student is escalated, he is very mindful of that, and he does not contribute to the escalation. So the question I asked him was, where does that come from? Why do you do that? And he said to me, because it's not about me, it is about that student. So that simple answer revealed to me the type of human he is. And that's really what matters. What is your, what are you so concerned about versus what do you want to influence? And are we interested in widening that influence, because that's what leadership is, right? Thank you so much,
Exactly.
Donya. Thank you.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
You're spot on with that.
Man, we can keep going on this episode, and I definitely see the room for a part two and a three and a four. So, Danya, you know that wherever you go, we will follow, and that you have an open invitation to come back, because just the between the leadership trifecta and just all of the things, it is just so inspiring, and I am like ready to go against the wind immediately. And speaking of against the wind, I want to read the last paragraph of the preface of Against the Wind: Leadership at 36,000 Feet, and we'll put all of the links to ordering the book, and if you want a book, Danya, as a keynote, or to consult, or all of those things, we will make sure to put all of her contact information there. But I just felt like this paragraph. So many things in this book I've highlighted. As all the leaders in this book can attest, leadership isn't easy. In fact, it often feels like being on a jet plane approaching an unexpected storm system. These types of challenges can leave even the most skilled pilot with an elevated heart rate and sweaty hands. The stories in this book don't shy away from the brutal realities of leadership, but they also show that leaders can survive the difficulties. Just as the infrastructure of the plane can withstand the eye of the storm, so can you. Let me read that again. Just as the infrastructure of the plane can withstand the eye of the storm, so can you. Let's raise our glasses to that.
Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers
that
all the
is
way
just
around.
such,
Beautiful.
oh, I absolutely love it. And by the way, Sean, people might think that we actually like flying because number one, I wrote a book with a plane, but no, I hate flying. And now I do it for a living, which is actually what was inspiration for Against the Wind, because I'm white knuckling it on the plane, and yet the plane survives. The infrastructure survives. We put our trust in the leader, in the pilot, in the crew to take care of us. And our organizations are entrusting us as leaders to do exactly the same for them.
Wow, that is beautiful, and I am with you, as you know, on the flying bit, and I take a little bit of medication, and I have a lot of therapy. So
call it irrational, call it whatever, but it's our reality.
It is our reality, and I will create a playlist for you. I'll put together some songs that help get me through 36,000 feet. So I will make
Please
sure.
do.
I'm
need
not the
whatever
seasoned
help I can
traveler
get.
like Sonia, who's going, crossing borders and visiting family in Canada. So but Sonia, is this it? Is this the end of the season?
This is the end of the season, you guys, but you have a bonus episode coming up, FYI, and I know about that. And I'd love you to just put in a plug about that because I'm going to be listening to that.
Yes. We have a bonus episode coming up March the 1st. Sonia and I interviewed the author of the unofficial textbook for this podcast, Marcel Schwantes. He is the author of Humane Leadership, and so that episode is going to drop March the 1st, and we are very, very excited about that. That was another episode that we did not want to end, right, Sonia? Oh, I think we lost her.
Hey, but FYI, that's really awesome because humane leadership and leading while human is 100% in alignment. And by the way, March 1 is right around the corner.
Yes, it will be here before we know it. And Sonia and I we were just really pleased with that conversation, just as we're pleased with this one. It's always memorable with you, my friend, and very grateful.
Absolutely. Hey, we will be talking again 100 more times about this and anything else under the sun. I really, really appreciated the time, you guys. Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Thank you for being with us. We really appreciate it. Hey, Sonia.
We can go on and on, Sean. I'm sorry, we can go on and on. And I am just so grateful. And I have so many questions. And I think the only way to kind of get through this is to come up with different themes. You know, before the podcast, we talked about fear. That is huge. We talked about going on a plane and just thinking about how we put our trust in people and in ourselves, right, as leaders. So I just want to thank you again, Dr. Donya Ball, for just being who you are and coming on here to share your wisdom with us today.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Our guest is Dr. Donya Ball. Please be sure to pick up copies of her books, Against the Wind, Leadership at 36,000 Feet, and Adjusting the Sails, Weathering the Storms of Administrative Leadership. All of these books and the links to her website and all of her contact information will be available within our show notes. This concludes our inaugural season. We are very grateful for all of our guests, from Rachel Edo-Eckett, Principal Kafele, Lauren Kaufman, and now Donya Ball. And we are very grateful for their time and their expertise and their strengths and their talents. Stay tuned for that bonus episode with Marcel Schwantes to drop on March the 1st. This episode with Donya Ball will actually be dropping tomorrow. Today is the 21st. It will be dropping on Sunday morning, February the 22nd. I like to drop those things early before I work out. So if you're an early riser, you'll see it at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. So that will be there. And then after the bonus episode, we have another kind of announcement that we're also going to be sharing. I'm just going to share it now. We have a live webinar coming up. March the 9th, and Marcel Schwantes will be joining us for that as well. So stay tuned for details on that. This is Leading While Human, because leadership is not just about what we do. It is about how we show up for people and how we weather those storms and adjust our sails and stay strong against the wind, just like Donya Ball. This is Sean Gaillard. This with my wonderful co-host and thought partner and friend and sister, Sonia Matthew. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to catch you on the flip side soon. Thank you.
Have a great one, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Donya.